So today I'm going to be looking at some new figures, and while I'm talking about them, I'll probably mention some stuff from the most recent chapters. So first we have the Grandline series special, Monkey D. Dragon. I mean, there's not much to say about this one. He's pretty plain flat colors. You can see the back of the cape there, and I like him. I'm probably going to get him because I've always wanted a dragon figure this size. I think he'll look good with the Portrait of Pirates Kuma. So yeah, it says this one's 7.9 inches tall. And then we have Luffy, also DXF, the Grandline series special. And I like this one. It just looks like a simple Luffy figure. He looks I don't know, he looks very Luffy-ish. And I have a really old one, a really old Grandline series Luffy, and like the peg broke out of the foot, so I might get this one as a replacement. And it says he's going to be 7.5 inches tall. I'm reading these measurements from the Big Bad Toy Store site. And then we have what I've been waiting my whole life for. Look at this sexy thing. I couldn't believe it when I saw this. My God. Look at that. I know there's little WCFs, which I've always wanted to get the WCF Saul, but ever since I first saw Saul, I wanted a regular proportioned figure of him, and here it is finally. And he looks sexy as hell, as he should. The only downside about this one for me is that he's small. He's 7.1 inches tall, but you know, he's part of the Grandline series, and that's just the size that these figures are, so I really don't care. I'm just excited to be getting Saul. And I think there's probably going to be more to come now that we've been seeing him in Elbaf. And yeah, that last chapter, 1142, I could not believe it when I saw this sexy beast come running. He uses hockey and punches that snake. That was like something I thought I'd never see. I still can't get over it. But yeah, with Saul, I feel like there's so much they could do. They could do Frozen Saul. They could do one where he's all wrapped up in the bandages, and then do the regular Saul with the peg leg. I feel like that could be an Ichiban Kuji set, just all the different Sauls. But I doubt they would do that. Maybe for Kuma though, you know, Kuma has a lot of moments. That's something I'd like to see. They could do like all Kuma's moments, you know, a different figure for each moment. But yeah, once Elbaf figures do start coming out, I feel like we probably will get a Saul as part of an Ichiban Kuji set. Just not a whole set that's only Saul. That's pretty much out of the question, I would think. And I didn't really realize how big Loki was till this recent chapter. I mean, Luffy was standing on his arm and stuff the last few chapters, but some other giants came near Loki in this chapter, and he's just giant. I think someone even mentioned that he's like Or's size, so I think he's pretty big even for a giant. Yeah, right now Luffy and Zoro and Sanji are right there by Loki. I wonder if they're gonna fight him at all, or what's gonna happen. Yeah, I just can't wait for each of these chapters. And the giants are one of my favorite things about One Piece. So those are some of the figures I want to see most, like Dory, Broggy, Loki. And I wonder if they ever will do a portrait of pirates of any giant. I'm thinking it probably won't be bigger than Big Mom or Kaido, because those are already big and expensive. You know, maybe they could do Saul like sitting down. Or maybe they do a giant like 2 or 3 inches taller than Kaido or Big Mom. But I do worry about the price if they did that. Like it'll probably be pretty expensive. So I'm looking more forward to them doing some Ichiban Kuji giants. Like they make some pretty big figures like these ones here, so I could see a Loki, like if they did him standing up, I could see that one being as big as this All Might. They could also do one of him sitting down, chained up. That could work great as an Ichiban Kuji or a Portrait of Pirates figure. And I'd also like to see a figure of Dory and Broggy, like of them doing their attack together. That would be great. Maybe that could happen in Ichiban Kuji. I don't know, but yeah, that's something I really want to see. Then of course more Saul, and pretty much just any giant. Maybe they'll keep making them in the Grandline series, and I'll just keep buying those if they keep doing it. But I really would love to see some that are at least like 12 inches tall. Now let's look at some re-releases. So the Neo Maximum Whitebeard is getting released again, and pre-orders for that one open up on March 14th. So that's great. We got Kaido, Jinbei, Whitebeard, and then we're also getting this Ace. So they're releasing Whitebeard and Ace again. And this little Nico Robin too, which makes sense with what's going on in the manga right now. You know, they're at Elbaf with Saul. Robin has an old haircut again, so now seems like the perfect time to release it again. And I've always wanted this one, so maybe I'll get it this time. And now I'm going to look at some of the upcoming Portrait of Pirates figures. First is a new Maximum Hancock, and I think this one looks great. I love all the scales on Salome and also how they colored his hair. And Hancock looks great too. I like the face, the pose, the purple dress. And it looks like this one won't be needing any support poles because of the way she's connected onto the rock, but you never know. Maybe there will be one back there where Salome's like curving around. Even if they did put one there, I don't think it would be too distracting. And this is my favorite Portrait of Pirates Hancock figure. I did have the original one for a while, and that one was fine. And then a little bit later on, they came out with the first Maximum one. And there was some things I liked about that one, like Salome making the shape of a heart, and I also liked how they did the folds on the dress, but I didn't like the Hancock itself, mainly because of those giant boobs. It looks like they just got 2 balls, slapped them on there, and said, all right, that's it, it's ready. And there are so many other Hancock figures and resins where they're sculpted to look normal, so whenever I come across this one, I just think, what the hell is that? And now for the new Marco. So I don't know about this one. I don't like how feathery the wings look. Like I prefer it when they look more like flames, like on that one Ichiban Kuji Marco. I like the pose better on that one too. And also the face on this one, like, I don't know, it just looks kind of off-putting to me, but at the same time it still looks like Marco. So kind of undecided on what I think about the face still, but he does look pretty good from this angle, like the straight on view. And here's the new Maximum Law. I think this one looks great. The face looks really good. I also like the coloring on the coat and the pants. All the effects look nice too, so I'm thinking I might be getting this one, both this one and the Hancock. And I don't buy Portrait of Pirates figures too often, but yeah, I'm really liking these two.